Well, as we were just saying, tech stocks tumbled for a second day yesterday.
Yeah.
We bring in Paul Dietrich, CEO and Chief Investment Officer of Fairfax Global Markets, to talk more about this. And Paul, what we want to know is the biggest thing that you're watching in the markets right now. Is it the technology sell-off potentially being an opportunity? Is it something else? What are you watching?
Well, you know, as we're hitting record highs in the various indexes or near record highs, people are always asking, is the market overvalued? Are we going to have a correction because it's overvalued? And if you take out the 5 mega tech stocks that we were talking about earlier, and you look at the other 495 stocks in the S&P 500, you'll see that they're running you know, basically at their 5-year average of a little over 15 PEs. So I think the market's pretty fairly valued.
Okay.
And then you look at earnings, and that's what I'm looking at. FactSet believes that we'll have 10% earnings growth this year. A lot of other people are thinking it'll be 10 to 12%. That's double digit. We should have double digit growth in the stock market this year if we're going to get earnings double digit growth.
I like the positive outlook on the numbers, but we've got to talk about the effect of Washington and what we're looking bigger picture here, Paul, at. You've got tax reform, regulatory reform. We're talking about an infrastructure plan. If these things hit the brakes in Washington, that means the entire market could be under pressure, correct?
I think so. I think that there is an expectation that certainly tax reform, corporate tax reform, not individual tax reform, corporate tax reform and infrastructure spending we need to get those done before the primaries start next year. And if we don't, I think the Republicans are in trouble. We're going to see with this new election coming up in Atlanta in the next week or so. This is a seat that's been held by Newt Gingrich and has been held by Republicans for 44 years, and now the Republicans are behind. That will tell us a lot, and I think people will be very frustrated if a Republican-controlled House and Senate and a Republican president cannot get through tax reform and infrastructure spending.
I certainly hear that. Let me ask you this. The Fed starts day one of 2 days of meetings tomorrow, a decision on rates. Also tomorrow, we get retail sales and CPI. The reason I bring that up, because the Fed's in this conundrum right now. Inflation doesn't seem to be hot, but, Paul, neither is the economy.
That's right. And I think we will have a bump up quarter point increase. I think that's baked into the market. The market doesn't seem to care. And so I think that's going to happen. But
do they hike again after tomorrow?
That is the big question. And I think they're going to wait and see. If we don't see any inflation, I don't see how they can.
So appreciate your time and your perspective. Thank you, Paul.
Well,